Thank you for joining us and a warm welcome. Now, Zimbabwe's opposition, the Movement for Democratic Change MDC party, on Tuesday preempted official results by declaring itself the winner of the first presidential election since the ouster of Robert Mugabe. The ruling Zanu-PF party, in its reaction, strongly condemned the opposition MDC's action, and it instead claimed it was the party in the early lead.
Zimbabwean civil society groups are working on a court application to force the Electoral Commission to get all polling stations to publish results from Monday's presidential election, according to a senior official from the opposition party.
So we have written to the Zimbabwe Election Commission asking them to produce these V11 forms. We are also aware that other citizens, in particular ZESNI, the Zimbabwe Election Support Network, and other private citizens are in the process of trying to launch court applications to assert the right to the full production of the V11 forms.
Tendai Biti, a former finance minister and member of the Movement for Democratic Change party, said some election results that were supposed to be posted outside voting stations were not available, and there was deliberate interference with the people's will shown by delays in announcing election results. The election, the first since the removal of Robert Mugabe last November, is a two-horse race between MDC leader Nelson Chamisa and President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Biti said it was clear Chamisa had won.
We are, however, seriously concerned about evidence of interference with the people's will that is being displayed by the authorities. So, for instance, as I'm talking to you right now, there is a deliberate delay in formally announcing results.
As Chamisa supporters gathered in Harare to celebrate, the Electoral Commission urged patience.
And this demonstration of joy by Nelson Chamisa supporters is not at all to the taste of government that threatens the opposition with prosecution. Interior Minister Robert Mugabe said last night, and I quote, "I'm sure no one wants to provoke the wrath of the law and risk being sent to prison."
Zimbabwean political analyst Kelvin Jakachira joins us now from Harare. Kelvin, a warm welcome to you. But first off, let us talk about the latest. As we speak now, preliminary results show that Zanu-PF party, the ruling party, is leading. How likely could this shape the final result, Kelvin?
Yes, thank you very much. I think the preliminary results that we have so far are instructive for the final outcome. We are most likely going to have a Zanu-PF and an Emmerson Mnangagwa victory. That is what is on the ground so far.
Interesting, Kelvin. There's been talk over who has more support. In fact, Nelson Chamisa declared himself winner, and this camp now says they're ready to challenge an outcome in favor of the Zanu-PF party in court. We can't rely on social media, but what do you make of all of this, Kelvin?
I think, judging by the rallies that Chamisa addressed, and the crowds that attended these rallies, I would be as surprised as he is that he is losing because so many people are attending these rallies. But I think it's also a political lesson that is going to learn that numbers at political rallies may not really translate to vote. What he needs to know and learn from now going forward is that he needs to translate people that attend these rallies to be proper voters, which is his difference with Zanu-PF. Zanu-PF has structures which make sure that people that support them go to the polls and vote for them. That's the difference. You cannot just be excited by big numbers of people that attend the rally, but you don't know that if these people voters, are they in the voters' roll, are they going to vote for you or not? So it's a political lesson that he must accept. That's number one. Number two, if you look at the preliminary results so far, that we have received, it is clear that Zanu-PF is eating into the urban voters because they've improved from the last election. Because if you look at it, they are losing by 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in the urban centers, where the MDC has got a commanding control of voters. So, meanwhile, in the rural areas where Zanu-PF has got control, they are winning 20,000 against 1,000. So, the MDC needs to sit down and reflect on these results.
Kelvin, both candidates, Chamisa and Mnangagwa, have urged their supporters to remain calm and peaceful, largely different from previous elections that we've seen in Zimbabwe. But what lessons are there to be picked from this process this time?
You see, this election was very peaceful. It was, in my view, credible. According at least to what some observers are telling me. I've been talking to some observers. They are telling me that the process was transparent, peaceful, and free and fair. I think we need to carry it forward. And I was talking to some voters who were saying this is a good feeling. To be able to campaign freely for your candidate, to be able to vote freely for your candidate. I think this is a good lesson which we must carry forward to the next elections for our country to move forward.
Well, Kelvin, the Electoral Commission has until Saturday to announce the results, but Chairwoman Priscilla Chigumba said she expects the announcement to be made well within that deadline, and that result, when announced, will be official, and that is what we can only rely on. So we wait for that, Kelvin. Meanwhile, I'd like to thank you for speaking with us this morning. Zimbabwean political analyst Kelvin what's his surname again? I'm sorry. Jakachira, speaking to us there from Harare. Thank you very much, Kelvin.
This is the morning call here on African News.